The lights are on, but no one's bowling, or buying hot dogs, or playing arcade games. There are no customers here, and there are no staff either. From a thriving business just weeks ago, all that remains is one man and his lonely bowling pins.
A conversation. We had to close, so we had no other choice but to lay off the entire staff at that point.
29-year-old Dan Murray was about to expand his bowling empire before COVID-19 hit. Now all 25 staff are gone, and he says ordinary people are paying too high a price.
You're inconveniencing 100% of the population with very minuscule levels of death occurring from COVID. And if people want to go out, I think they should be allowed to go out. The inconvenience that's occurring at this point is being incredibly detrimental to our economy and our society as Americans.
Families of the 80,000 thus far in the US who've lost their lives might find that an offensive point of view.
They might, and I'm very sorry for their loss. I truly am. But at the same time, you cannot inconvenience 100% of society.
The bowling alley sits just outside the town of Carlisle in Pennsylvania, where one by one businesses were forced to shut down on March the 16th. Now, with unemployment soaring, the streets have an eerie emptiness.
Pennsylvania was one of the key battleground states that delivered Donald Trump victory in 2016. It's now also one of the states that's been hit the hardest economically by the coronavirus. In just a matter of weeks, 1.7 million people, that's nearly a quarter of the workforce, have lost their jobs and are seeking benefits. And unless things pick up and return to normal soon, it could have major implications for November's election.
Your jobs will come back under a Trump administration, including your steel, which has been decimated in this area.
In 2016, with most of Pennsylvania's steel industry in tatters, Donald Trump fashioned himself as the blue-collar billionaire, appealing to the white working-class masses who felt they'd been left behind. He duly cut taxes and regulation, and Pennsylvanians enjoyed economic wealth not seen in decades. But with COVID-19, the hard times have returned.
And we were forced to shut down really immediately. It was the very next day, just, hey, don't come to work, really. So it was very quick and out of the blue.
Amanda lost her job as a waitress in a local resort.
How many flowers? Can you count them?
A single mum, she found herself alone. No income, no health insurance, looking after her 2-year-old daughter.
It's not a forced vacation. You're not having fun. You're not having friends over. You're not catching up on hobbies and things you wish you could do. It's very difficult, and you're kind of just left alone with your thoughts and the bills.
The unemployment benefit, supposed to arrive in 2 weeks, took 2 months. But she has family to lean on. Some are having to lean on the kindness of others. With their own life on hold, married couple Tiffany and Brian set about helping those who now can't afford to put food on the table. Buying meals from local restaurants and donating them to the Salvation Army, now charged with feeding the Carlisle COVID poor.
To see the effect on families of people who are not okay or, in jeopardy of losing their homes or losing, vehicles and can't feed their families in a matter of weeks. And it's not like it took a real long time. It was shocking.
It wasn't that long ago that 200 people packed this bowling alley. Now, with financial losses mounting, do businessmen like Dan, who support Trump, feel the president could or should have acted sooner?
I don't feel that Trump is responsible for the shutdown of the economy. At my core, I'm a capitalist, and I'm very appreciative of the regulations that have been adjusted. It's let entrepreneurs flourish, and it's really helped, in my opinion, get the economy rolling again.
But there's nothing flourishing here, no economy rolling, not even a bowling ball.
Well, a key difference between the UK and the US employees that you saw in my piece there, they haven't been furloughed. They're not having their salaries part subsidised by the American government. They've simply been laid off and they're having to seek unemployment benefit themselves. That is partly why some economists believe it could take longer for the US economy to pull out of this crisis, even as the weekly tally of unemployment, that 3 million we mentioned earlier, even if that is becoming lower and as people are beginning to return to work. Now, President Trump is not expected to mention the unemployment data as he is about to arrive at a medical equipment distribution center in that key swing state of Pennsylvania. He's due to speak any moment, but as he left the White House here behind me earlier, we got his standard refrain that we have done a great job, he said. That was not the opinion earlier this morning of one Dr. Rick Bright, who is a top US vaccine expert turned whistleblower, who said that because of the Trump administration's inaction in the early days of this crisis, that 2020 will be, he said, the darkest winter in modern history. President Trump did find time, of course, to take a swipe at him. He said that Dr. Bright was a disgruntled employee who should no longer be working for the government.